Welcome to Conversations Live, where we bring you the best in music, books, entertainment, and more. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Now celebrating 16 years of broadcasting, here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
And welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again, both for our radio audience and those tuning in online. We're glad you all could be with us as well. It's been now almost 2 years since I had an interview with our next guest, but Shannon Brinson has definitely been busy in that time. She and I first met each other back in 2018 during my visit to Atlanta, Georgia for Conversations ATL. We're going to talk to Shannon not only about her journey as an actress, but also what it's been like for her to do what she loves, to share the experience with us, but also to be able to share her journey with multiple sclerosis as well. As she's been able to also inspire other MS warriors out there to not only go after their goals and dreams, but also to share their stories. We'll talk to Shannon about that, as well as let you guys know how to stay connected with her as well. Shannon, thank you so much for the time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, the pleasure is definitely all mine. So, Shannon, again, it's hard to believe it's coming up on 2 years since you and I were literally in the same space, which seems very foreign now in 2020, where no one's getting together.
Right. That's the crazy part.
Right. You've been able to do so many great things, Shannon, in the time that, from the time I first met you, but also, again, in sharing your stories. I want to kind of begin there. What has it been like for you in 2020 to be able to not only to adjust what is now all of our new normal, but also to be able to live your life in the public?
Okay, well, for me to adjust is kind of hard. Because with me having MS, my doctor does not want me, mixing around with people. So I have to be very cautious of wherever I go, whatever type of roles it is I'm taking, because I have to make sure the social distancing is there and that it's not going to be anything inappropriate. We have the appropriate PPE that I have to have just with me having multiple sclerosis. So for 2020, the beginning of the year, I was in a play. I was super excited to do that, but as soon as the play was over, that's when the pandemic hit.
Wow. We're going to come back to that because one of the things I've been able to notice, Shannon, even through your social media posts, while you've been, though, kind of sheltering in place, you have been able to do auditions, do self-tapes. We're going to get into that. I want to talk about, though, the multiple sclerosis diagnosis because from what I understand from our first conversation, you were diagnosed when you were 17 years old. I mean, so much, first of all, has happened in that amount of time where we understand more about multiple sclerosis. But when you first were diagnosed, what was that experience like for you to try to get to know the disease that was impacting your body?
I'll be honest, I was devastated. And I was devastated because I love to dance, and it was kind of crazy because all of a sudden my legs went completely numb. I was blind in my left eye. So I was real devastated. And the simple fact that it was taking the doctors so long to figure out what was wrong with me. I had to be in the hospital for 2 weeks, and then we was able to figure it out. So when I first was diagnosed, I was frustrated and scared. I'm being honest, very terrified, thinking I was going to die. Oh, Lord, I got something that's going to kill me, how long I'm going to have here on the earth. My mind was just going all kind of ways.
Right. And I'm so glad you mentioned that, Shannon, because I think when a lot of people hear about things, quite frankly and quite honestly, that we don't know as much about, it's very easy to go negative. So what has it been like for you to learn how to be able to live life with multiple sclerosis? What has that process been like?
I mean, that process has been kind of challenging. But for me, because I'm one person that does not like to give up, I don't like medication. So I did a lot of research. I started finding out other people that was in the entertainment industry that did have it, and I tried to read everything that they had, following their protocol, what they had, what was keeping them, afloat. So that's what I did when I was diagnosed at 17, me and my mom, because I had my mother as well, her and my dad. So.
Yeah. And having that support system is so important. So we talked about you being diagnosed with multiple sclerosis at 17, Shannon. What about acting? When what age were you when you decided that was something that you wanted to do and to try?
Actually, my mind, college, because like I said, being diagnosed at 17, my mindset was I was going to be a dancer. I wanted to be a ballerina. I was like, yep, that's what I'm going to do and everything like that. And where I was living at then, everybody knew I was either dancing or stepping. That was pretty much all I did. So then when I decided to go to college, when I really started to pick myself back up, my original mindset was I'm a dance. But then when I tried to dance, I was able to see that my legs was not moving as fluently as I needed them to. So then I was like, okay, what else can I do in the entertainment industry? Because I always knew I was supposed to perform. So the college, actually the third college I went to, I saw that they had a theater program, and I went in the theater program, and I tried it out. And I was like, oh, I found it. I'm going to be an actress. And that's where my journey began.
Wow. And that's where I met you, again, going back to 2018, because you were introduced to me as an actress, and, of course, I got to find out more about your backstory after that. So, of course, when people meet you, Shannon, I mean, one of the things that definitely comes across is your optimism about life. Do you think that that optimism and that positive outlook is one of the things that has helped you not only in your career, but also in dealing with MS?
Yes, it has, because when you have MS, your day I can wake up one way, and then like 30 minutes later, my whole outcome can be totally different. So I had to learn to adjust to be positive. Like, even though my head may be hurting, even though my legs may be burning, I'm still going to look at this in a positive way. So for me as a person, me having MS has transformed me into this person that I am now. Live life, love it, and you try to go after whatever you want.
Yeah. And you've been able to be a part of some exciting things over the years, right? I mean, you know, even kind of looking at your acting journey when I was prepping for this segment with you, you've been a part of television shows, you've been a part of movies. Do you still have those moments when you kind of pinch yourself, Shannon, to kind of think about the things you've been able to do?
I do, and only because with multiple sclerosis, it's kind of supposed to bring you down because you never know what you're going to be able to do. And I think in our conversation before, when I told you sometimes I am on set and I'm like in so much pain, but in my mindset, I'm always like, this is for the MS community, because I always want people to know that even though things are hard, you still can achieve whatever it is you want to do. So that's kind of my look on life. Like, I'm not going to let MS define me. I am determined not to, if that makes sense. And I just live.
Right. And you live in such a transparent way. I want to bring our audience attention to a Instagram post you made on June the 4th, Shannon. For those who are not following Shannon on Instagram, there you can find her at official Shannon Brinson. We'll remind you of that a little bit later. But there we see a picture of you literally in tears, Shannon, and this is what the caption for the picture said. This is what having MS or an autoimmune disorder may look like, not having a good morning. When you have an invisible disease, your body acts up in the inside, and there's nothing that can be done. Today I have the numbness, burning sensation in legs and arms, and I have a headache. MS, you're not going to have me down today. I have rehearsal for a movie I'm in shooting in June. I'm God's child, and by his stripes I'm healed. So I want to talk about the transparency. Was that an easy thing for you, Shannon, to pull back the curtain? It's one thing for you to let us know about projects that you're working on in your acting career, but wasn't it an easy decision for you to make to let us see what living with MS looks like?
Actually, I'll be honest, it is. That one was. Only because I want people to see that just because I look normal on the outside does not mean I'm feeling well in the inside. On that day, I was in so much pain, Cyrus. My legs was burning. My arms was burning. I really couldn't eat. My hands was shaking. It was a lot going on with me on that day. And I was like, how am I going to make it through the day? And I have rehearsal today. That was the other thing that was making me upset. So I was like, you want to know what? I'm going to show the world this is me. I want people to see this is what autoimmune deficiencies can do, because MS isn't the only one that does it. You have, lupus, Jarion's disease. There's other diseases out there that shows the same, we all have the same size. So I just wanted people to see that this is me. Y'all see me crying. You see my pain, but I'm going to make it through. When my son took the picture, I was like, oh, my God. And when he showed it to me, he said, Mama, I really think you should put this up because you like showing the world what you're going through. So this is a very good picture to show the world what you're going through.
Right. And speaking of children, which I typically don't do a lot on this program unless the guest has brought them up, Shannon, you talk about your children even in some of your posts. And one of the things that I was impressed with, I wanted to mention, is that they're able to see you persevere. So not only are other people in the MS community able to see you and to rally around you and to cheer you on, what is it like for you to be showing your children, Shannon, that no matter what challenge that comes their way, the importance of not giving up?
It is very important because I want both of my children to know that even though things get hard, you still can overcome that. That's something both of my parents instilled in me when I was small, and I actually think that's why I have been able to accomplish as much as I have living with MS. My parents were always there, aunts, uncles, sisters, brothers. Everybody has always been like, Shannon, you can do it. You don't never take no. So I know with my children, I always tell them no is not an option. That including with their schoolwork, because sometimes my son, my daughter, I can't do this. No, you don't never say you can't. You always need to stay positive and say you can. It just may take you a little longer to find your answers. So with my kids, that's very important. I'm going to stress that to my kids, my grandkids, great-grandkids. If I'm here, I want them to all know you can do anything you can do anything as long as you have Christ Jesus with you. And that's always my motto. Yeah. God on your side.
That's so true. It's a great reminder for all of us. For those who are just tuning in either on the radio side or online, you're listening to Conversations Live. We're excited to welcome actress Shannon Brinson to our program today. Shannon is talking with us. I mentioned earlier it's been almost 2 years since Shannon and I were together in Atlanta, Georgia, there for a taping of my TV show and web series, Cyrus Webb Presents. We're now rejoining each other here in 2020 to talk to us about the journey she's been on in front of the camera, but also in sharing her journey with multiple sclerosis or MS along the way, too, not only able to inspire others, but also remind us all as to what is possible. So I mentioned earlier that one of the things that you were able to do this year, of course, because we all kind of have that extra time that we're got a sheltering in place, you've decided to stay busy. Shannon, you've been out there, being able to do from home these self-takes, being able to work on projects. Why has it been so important for you to stay busy even when the world is kind of in a standstill?
Okay, it's important for me because I know this world is going to open back up. And when it opens back up, I want to be ready to jump in, dive in, go very hard on TV shows, movies, web series, theater. I want to do it all. So as an actress, you always want to stay prepared. And that's where I stay prepared at. I'm constantly training. I'm constantly auditioning. I'm not turning nothing down because at the end of the day, something is going to come around. So that's why it's very important. And I tell anybody that even with my regular job, I've been looking up classes that I can take online. Yeah. Just for me to be able to do my work. I know the market is going to be different when I come back to work. So I'm just staying busy and preparing myself.
Yeah. So I asked you this question 2 years ago, and I'm going to ask you this question again. What is it like for you to know that by your example, Shannon, that you are showing other people, especially those living with an autoimmune disease or any type of challenge, what is it like for you to be an example to them as to what's possible?
That makes me feel, actually, I'm happy because what I want people to know is that even though things are hard, you can always overcome it. And that's why I show my story. That's why I talk about my MS, my struggles, my ups and downs, because I want people to know I'm normal just like you. Even though I'm an actress, I'm normal. I have some of the same problems you have. So for my MS community, I want to be that face to show them, yeah, we may become disabled. We may go in a wheelchair. We don't know. But even though you don't know, still try to do something. Don't you let your job tell you no. Don't let nobody ever tell you you cannot do anything, because you can. It just may be a little harder on you, but that's all right. I just want people to know that it's all right. Just go after what you want.
Right. That's a great reminder.
Motivator.
Yeah, it's a great reminder for all of us. Again, everyone, Shannon Brinson has been our guest. We've been talking to Shannon not only about the journey she's been able to do in front of the camera as an actress, but also day by day in life as a real-life MS warrior, not only sharing her own journey with multiple sclerosis, but also her passion for acting, being able to do what she loves, but also, as you just heard, being able to inspire people along the way. So, Shannon, I mentioned Instagram earlier. How can our audience stay connected with you?
They can follow me on Instagram at official Shannon Brinson, and that's BRINSON.
Okay.
So that's
official Shannon Brinson.
All right. That's
so make sure you guys are following her there. For those who are joining us online, we'll make sure to make it easy for you guys to provide the link there. Shannon, congratulations to you again. Really appreciate the time today, and looking forward to having you back on the program again.
Oh, thank you for having me.
The
and I hope I inspired somebody today.
Oh, look, I know you did, Shannon. I know you did. And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying, as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live. Let's make it a great one.